Creating and customizing are probably the two biggest draws to 3D printing. Well, besides the actual 3D printing itself. So today, I thought I'd help you out with a little bit of all three of those things: creating, customizing, and 3D printing. I had a recent request to make some of these nameplates, so I thought today I'd walk you through creating your very own dual name 3D print in Fusion 360. And once you do it, you'll be able to go back and customize it for other names and words. Fusion 360 is arguably the biggest and most used 3D design software out there. For beginners, Tinkercad seems to be the way to go, and of course there's also Blender. But for most people, Tinkercad ends up being just a little too limited, and Blender's just plain too much. Now, I'm going to assume that most of you are like me when it comes to designing for 3D printing in Fusion 360. You know enough to do most of what you want, and also just enough to know how to Google the rest. So let's jump in and get started. After opening Fusion 360, the first best practice is go ahead and save your project. Name it whatever you want. The main reason for this is to get that timeline going. And if you're not familiar with the timeline, it's on the bottom of your Fusion 360 screen, and it's what will allow you to make changes later. Next, we're going to need to make a sketch. I finally got my head around working with sketches by realizing it's kind of like making anything. You want to start with a drawing, a simple outline. And that's basically what we're doing here. Click on the first icon in your toolbar or on Create Sketch under the Create drop-down. We want to create this sketch on the front plane. If you're not sure which is which, you can click Front on the View cube at the top right of your screen. Then click the square in the middle that's facing you. This brings us into the sketch area. You may also notice that a new tab has appeared above the toolbar, and it shows that you're in Sketch. Next, to create the text, select text from the Create drop-down menu in your toolbar. Left-click once on the center origin point so we can anchor our design there. Move your mouse up and to the right. Click where you want to make your text box just the right size. We're going to use 50 by 25 here, for example, but you can always make that different later. Next, a pop-up for text will appear. In the text area, type in your first name there. I recommend making the name in all capitals for now, and I'm using the name John, but you can use whatever you want. One quick note, if your names are a different number of letters, you will need to adjust one of them. For instance, if you use John and Sally, you'll need to add something to John's name. Any ASCII character will do, like a heart or anything like that. Otherwise, this isn't going to work properly. I also recommend using a plain, thick font, and you can even add bold to it to add a little more weight. We'll leave the height at 10 millimeter and character spacing at 0 for now. Next to alignment, you'll want to make the text fully left and at the bottom. Hit OK and then Finish to close out the sketch. Now, let's make that sketch have some depth. First, let's hit that home button on the upper right so we can see more of what's going on. Next, click on your name to select it. On your toolbar, under Create, click on Extrude. You can also press the E key to bring this feature up. Notice the arrow that popped up on your text. We want to go back instead of forward, so let's type in -75 and then hit Enter. Now, you don't have to use -75, but it's just a good number here to make sure it's long enough for our next text box, and that'll make more sense in a minute. By the way, if you make a mistake after clicking or hitting Enter on anything, just Control-Z to undo and try it again. Next, we're going to do basically the same thing all over again, but this time we'll use the right plane for our sketch. So really quick, click Create Sketch, click the right plane. Don't forget you can use the View cube, right, if you aren't sure. Under Create, click on Text, and this time you want to create your text box to match the size of your current text extrusion, which should still be showing. Click the center origin point for your anchor, then the top right of your previous text. All right, so now change the name. I'm going to use Mary, and all the settings should be the same as before, but just verify them and hit OK and Finish to close out your sketch. Again, I like to hit the home button here just to give me a little more perspective on things. All right, so now we need to select just the name we entered in the last sketch, Mary. If you click on it, you'll select the first text box. That's not what we want. So first, let's turn off that first text by going to the left on your screen under Browser and click the eyeball icon next to Bodies, and that turns all the bodies off. Now we can extrude our text out to +75, and we want this coming forward. So enter 75. and you'll probably get an error at this point because we turned off bodies. So with that still selected, go over to the bodies area, click the eyeball icon next to bodies. That'll turn everything back on. Just above the OK button, you'll see operation. Change that setting to intersect and then hit OK. The join operation here would make them all one big body. Cut would remove our current selection from the previous body, that text of John. But intersect leaves us with only the pieces of each body that we're intersecting or touching each other. Now would be a good time to hit Control-S to save. I usually just leave the name how it is, but when you have a particularly important section, you can change that name to something to remind you what you just did. Now we want to get rid of all the excess pieces. In case you didn't realize it before, this type of dual name design works on the diagonal. And that's important to remember in this step. All right, so on your view cube, click top and rotate so that the center of your workspace is on the bottom left, which makes the word top on your view cube also in the correct orientation. If you need to move the piece up some or move it around, hold down your middle scroll button and drag the workspace where you need it. Now we need to select only our diagonal text pieces, starting from the bottom left at the center origin point. Now click any part of the first letter. You don't need to select it all, just one part. Hold down Shift and click on each letter going diagonally to the top right. Now right-click any of the highlighted sections you just clicked on. Find Show Hide in the menu, or you could just hit the V key instead of right-clicking. The 4 letters you picked are now hidden. So now you want to go over to the bodies on the left again, but this time we're going to open it all the way up with that little caret on the left. Each letter has its own body. Click the first one, hold Shift, and then click the last one. You cannot just drag and select all the bodies because you need to select the hidden bodies as well. Now, let's do the Show Hide command again on any of the selected letters over in the middle of your screen, and guess what? It's actually a toggle switch. Now you've turned back on all the hidden bodies while at the same time hiding the ones that were still being shown. Neat. Close up the Bodies menu if you want, click to the side of your text to unselect everything, and hit the Home button. Move everything around a little bit and see how it's coming. Well, now you'll see some really interesting letters, and you may have noticed that they're all completely separated from each other. Let's fix that by adding a base. Once more, create a sketch, but this time we're going to use the top plane. Move your workspace over a little bit so you can see the letters, and you can scroll out a little bit if you need. On the toolbar, under Create, choose the Slot feature. A little menu will pop out, and you'll see Center to Center Slot. Click on that. Now click once on your center origin point, and click a second time on the very tip of your top right letter. If you aren't sure if you're right on the tip of it, you can scroll in and move the workspace around to see it better. Once you get your selection on the very tip of that, scroll back out if you need to, and now very slowly move your mouse away from your names. You should see a rounded base growing out of the line you just placed down. Make sure the base is slightly bigger than the biggest letter and click anywhere to confirm your selection. If you're not happy with it, just Control-Z and try again. When you're satisfied, click on Finish Sketch. Well, if you guessed that we're going to extrude a base, you're right. I like to hit the Home button again so I can get that perspective back. Click in your base sketch anywhere inside it to select it and press E to extrude. Then type in 2. But now it looks like we're cutting off the bottom of our letters, and we don't want that, so change that number to -2, and there you go, that's a lot better. This number can be whatever you want, but it's good to have a really thick base here. Before closing, if it didn't change by itself, let's change the operation to join and hit OK. If you want to round over the top edges to give that base a little more pizzazz, click on the top edges. There should just be 4, and then press the F key for fillet. Change the amount to 0.5 and hit enter. Voila! And that's it. Now you can export your new creation as an STL and print it out. Well, hopefully you didn't have any issues with that, and I'm actually thinking about doing this same lesson in Tinkercad, although that's going to be a little more difficult because of Tinkercad's limitations. If it's something you'd like to have, please let me know in the comments. Now, let's get to 3D printing what we made today as we all continue to learn, create, and amaze.